Hi, I'm talking to you on top of an oil silo inside of ExxonMobil's oil refinery. Now, this is the largest oil refinery in the UK, belonging to ExxonMobil, and Extinction Rebellion protesters today have climbed on top of two of the silos. So this is us, and over there is the other one. You can see the banner in the distance which says climate emergency on it. We also have protesters inside the site, and we have protesters at a gate blocking the entrance into the site. Now, we're here today demanding that the government bans all fossil fuel investments immediately. So as COP approaches, we've got 3 days until COP, where the world leaders are coming together. It's not good enough that this site is still up and running and indeed expanding. They're intending to expand this refinery, which is already the largest one in the UK. And sorry, it's all a bit, lots of adrenaline going on. So yeah, as you can see, it's absolutely huge. What I'm going to do is just walk down here slightly so that you can see what's going on. So as you can see, there are masses of oil silos, which are these, but also this is the refinery itself. So you can see all of those pipes, and you can see those tall things. That's flames coming out of it. The pollution here is absolutely awful. I feel like I'm just breathing in like gas and oil. It's really horrible. I can feel it like all the way down my throat. But we know that this is the right thing to do. We're here because we believe that this is absolutely the right thing to do. So if you can see here, there are pipes coming off that silo, which is the silo that the other protesters are on. They actually turned the tap off that silo. So we assume they've done the same with ours. So the silo, I think, is no longer pumping fossil fuels. So yeah, we're up here and I'm terrified, but I believe it's the right thing to do, because it's not good enough that this is still happening. It's not good enough that people are dying every day across the world. It's not good enough that this site is, a huge part of that. So I think we're going to hand over to someone else now. Did the drone look at us at all?
Good morning. I'm outside Fawley Refinery, ExxonMobil's largest oil refinery in southern England. Earlier this morning, we drove this beautiful pink boat in, as you can see, and used it to block one of the main gates into the refinery, while other activists got inside the refinery and scaled some of the silos. ExxonMobil is one of the largest fossil fuel companies, and they have known since the 1980s the impact that fossil fuels were having on our atmosphere and the potential for it to cause catastrophic climate change, but continue to take no action in order to reduce the amount of fossil fuels being emitted. So we're calling for governments and oil companies to take far greater efforts and far greater steps in order to reduce the amount of fossil fuels that are being extracted from the earth and to transition to a greener economy. Still going. I think you're frozen.
I am taking part in this action today because it is my moral duty at this time to do whatever I can to stop the fossil fuel industry from expanding, as this will lead to us all having no chance of a livable future. This is especially true for those communities in the global south and the animal populations of the world, who, despite being the most vulnerable to climate change, have the smallest voice. Despite what governments and corporations who are profiting hugely from business as normal may say, we have no carbon budget left. The world does not have the capacity for any more emissions of fossil fuels. This business that we are blocking today has multi-million pound plans to increase their capacity for production. We, the people, say no, and say it firmly with our strong actions that you see today. Ahead of COP26, the British government calls themselves leaders on the fight against the climate crisis. Prove this to be true by immediately stopping investments of public money into new fossil fuels and giving us a clear way that you, as our government, intend to sufficiently play your part in averting the largest catastrophe in the history of humanity.
Hello, my name's Michael. I'm 59 years old and I live in Crookham in South Somerset. And I'm taking action at the Fawley Oil Refinery today because, well, you might be able to hear that lorry going past. It's always a reminder. Every lorry sometimes, every car, every bit of concrete, every road, every pavement is a reminder for me that we are doing damage to our planet, and we are doing far more damage than the planet can sustain. And we need our governments to take action, immediate action now. The United Nations has issued so many warnings over the years telling us that we've got to do this, and our government, global governments, are refusing to pay any attention. They're refusing to take the real meaningful steps. They continue throwing greenwash at us, and I can't take it anymore. I love places like this. I love the world that nourishes us. The planet nourishes us and looks after us, and we're abusing it. We are the planet's enemy at the moment, or at least we're our own enemy, because the planet, life will continue, but we won't be here to live it. And our descendants won't be here to live it. We should be thinking like the first peoples of North America think, of the 7 generations to come, rather than just our immediate profit now. It's time that changed. It's time we thought of that 7th generation. And that's why I'm taking action today. Thank you.
Hi, so yeah, I'm on top of one of the silos in ExxonMobil's oil refinery. And yeah, you can see it behind me. It feels pretty amazing to be up here. There's a nice breeze actually, and yeah, everything seems really chill at the moment. Everyone's very relaxed, everyone's really pleased that we got up here. There's a beautiful sunrise, and the police haven't shown up yet. So yeah, it's all feeling pretty good. And you know, I'm here today, I'm taking part in this because it's all we've got left to do, you know. Like we have to be acting, we have to be taking like non-violent direct action, because nothing else is working at the moment. You know, we've got COP coming up, and we already know that that's going to be a failure. We already know that it's just going to be full of empty promises and lies, and nothing will come of it. And you know, every day we're hurtling further and we're closer and closer to climate collapse, and it's terrifying. So yeah, I'm here because I am absolutely terrified and know that we need to do something. And the camera might be shaking a little bit, it's because my hand is shaking, because I'm really scared up here, but it's also really amazing to do. I'm just going to swing the camera around again so that you can kind of just see the site again. So here we go, here it is. It's getting light now, so you can see in much more detail what's going on with it. You can see the different bits. So this is the silo that we're on. We're kind of walking on a concrete bit, which is hopefully mildly safer. And there is the beautiful sunrise. Look at that. It's quite spectacular to watch that happen. We had a drone above us taking some footage. And yeah, we're just up here relaxing now. You can see the other group over there, we've got some trespassers in the site. I believe one group of trespassers are having a little picnic. Let's see if we can see them from here. Just gonna come round, and you might be able to see the little blob of orange just through the two silos there. If you can see them, they're having a little picnic in the grounds, which is really lovely. I've got someone here who might be up for an interview, so I'm just going to come over. So, hi, Risky, how are you?
I'm good.
Do you want to talk a little bit about like why you're up here, how you're feeling, why you're up here?
Yeah. It's utterly crazy up here. I mean, we're just looking at the site, and it's vast. I mean, what we can see, it's unbelievable. It's like Mordor up here. You know, you've got flares going off left, right, and centre, and the scale of the site is unbelievable. And they're talking about, I'm sure someone's quoted it to you, increasing capacity by 40%. It's crazy. And I suppose what I was just thinking about was, you know, how small it makes you feel. You know, you feel so insignificant here. This, you know, the scale of this place, the scale of this silo alone is enormous, and we're just these tiny specks on it. And you see our rebel friends in the distance, and they're just specks in the distance, and you kind of think, well, what on earth can just a few rebels do that will make a difference? But we're getting reports that we might have shut down the site. We don't know. We'd like to verify that, but that would be very cool. People power. I mean, that's where we're at, isn't it? We've tried all conventional means. We've, you know, all the usual means of making change happen. Voting for a government that might be half decent and might do the right thing. You know, writing to your MP, signing petitions, going on sort of your standard protest. You know, waving a flag. We've done that for donkey's years, and we're here, and it's code red for humanity, and we have no other option. So we're here. We've managed to scale these silos and break into this site, and now we're sending a message very loud and clear just before COP that this has to end. We have to stop the harm before we can start fixing things. We need to stop making it worse, and sites like this that are proposing to expand by 40% are clearly making it so much worse. Just the impact is unbelievable. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Thanks so much, Risky. Thank you for that. And yeah, everything Risky said is absolutely right. And again, the sun keeps coming up, and every time I turn around, you can see a little bit more of the site. And it really is absolutely huge. It stretches on and on and on, and it's unbelievable that it's still trying to expand. It's unbelievable that it's still trying to get bigger. And we had someone come up and talk to us, and you know, they were saying that they're trying to be greener, that they're using more like green fuels, and that it's a wonderful company to work for. And I couldn't help thinking that, like, that is so naive, and that's greenwashing at its finest. Really is greenwashing at its finest. To see a company like this claiming that they're green because they're trying to use a few greener fuels, you know, and it might be a lovely company to work for, but I doubt that, because they are complicit in the murders of people across the world, people in the global south, indigenous groups. The air pollution here is absolutely disgusting. And, you know, what we've got is this site which is murdering people. So I wouldn't exactly call this a lovely place to work. And yeah, I guess we're gonna sit up here now. We're gonna stay here for as long as possible. Like Risky said, there have been some reports that we might have shut down the site, but it's kind of not verified yet. So we're waiting on that, and yeah, there's still no sign of the police. Everything's really relaxed. Everything's really nice. I'm gonna just show you our lock-ons. So there are people locked on the stairs. of both silos. So I'll just show you our lock-on crew. Hi guys, do you want to wave at the live stream? These are our 3 lock-on crew. How are you guys feeling? Looks like they're good. Yeah, so they're there to hopefully slow down the police when they come to remove us. And I don't know if you can see, but that silo also has a lock-on crew, plus the people at the top who seem to be in their sleeping bags now, which looks very comfy. I wish I'd brought a sleeping bag up here. Yeah, so that's what's going on at the moment. And we're just waiting to see what happens now. It's really amazing that we've got up here, like really incredible, and it's terrifying, and it's absolutely spectacular that we've managed to do this. And I really hope this is going to send a really strong message. I think we're using shoelaces to attach the banner because we don't have we don't have anything else to attach the banner to, so we're all gonna give up our shoelaces so that we can attach this banner so that we don't have to hold it the whole time. Yeah, okay, so I think maybe I'll hand back to somebody else now. Yeah, see you guys soon.
So the ExxonMobil Refinery at Fawley is absolutely enormous. Every day it processes 270,000 barrels of oil, which if you're not an expert on oil barrels, it's effectively 20% of the UK's entire fossil fuel usage every day. It's absolutely enormous. You might think, well, we're going to have electric cars from 2030. A building like this is a great capital investment, but it must have a very limited lifetime. But rather than that, ExxonMobil are planning to spend billions of pounds to increase its capacity for producing diesel, which is a very dirty fuel. Also, they're planning to build a pipe that goes, well, there's already a pipe that goes all the way from Fawley, which is on the south coast of Britain, and go to Heathrow, on the west of London. They're going to build a completely new one because they think, well, this is obviously going to be, people are going to be flying. And in fact, all major airports in Britain have plans to increase their number of flights. So they're having a new pipe so they can sell more fuel to Heathrow, more aircraft, more diesel fuel. It's 3 days until COP. Depending on which estimate you use, the current nationally declared contributions, which is how much each country will reduce its CO2 emissions so as to avoid the most dangerous parts of the climate emergency. At the moment, we're looking at between 3 and 4 degrees Celsius. That's an average across the globe, including the oceans, which means 4 or 5 on the land. Parts of the tropics will become uninhabitable. And rather than trying to, I heard someone earlier on the stream saying, stop the harm, that's exactly what needs to happen. Instead of trying to reduce emissions, lots of people, and we would suggest ExxonMobil, are actually increasing their emissions and spending billions of pounds to be able to do so. If you saw Joe Lycett's programme on greenwash from Shell during the week, you'll know that the oil companies are doing all they can to appear to be doing the right thing because they need the support of the public, carrying on as they are. Of all those oil companies, it's been suggested that ExxonMobil are dragging behind. So, for example, Shell have committed to being carbon neutral by 2050 for their own operations. ExxonMobil haven't done that. Shell are planning, or they claim they will reduce the emissions from the fuel that their customers burn. I don't know how they do that. ExxonMobil have no plans to do that. So it's looking very serious. What else can I say about that? I looked on the ExxonMobil website earlier in the week, and on their front page it says, we're going to reduce our emissions and we're going to spend $3 billion between now and 2025 to reduce our emissions. That might sound good, but you have to remember, each year, ExxonMobil has revenue of £180 billion. It's absolutely enormous. And that's why people say it's greenwash. They spend a very small amount of money, they put it on their front page of their website, and all the time they carry on investing in increasing their diesel output, increasing the amount of fuel they can sell to aircraft. One of the key things they mention, ExxonMobil mentioned on their website, is carbon capture and storage. Well, according to Professor Anderson, we need to, by 2050, we need to have built a carbon capture and storage infrastructure all across the globe on the same scale as the current fossil fuel infrastructure. That's 30 years' time. At the moment, there are very small carbon capture and storage facilities. They're very expensive. They don't capture very much CO2. But it's convenient for oil companies to be able to say, we can carry on as we are because we have carbon capture and storage. It's convenient for governments to say, we can carry on as we are because we're going to have carbon capture and storage. As far as I'm aware, or it seems to me, there's no realistic prospect of that happening. So when people say we're heading for 3 to 4 degrees Celsius based on the current nationally declared contributions that are going to be discussed at COP, that includes this fantasy carbon capture and storage. So it's all looking not very good. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Shall I? Does anyone here? Would anyone like to speak on the live stream? Have you got any? Yeah. Is there anything you particularly like to say or particularly concerned about?
Yeah, well, I'm here because companies like ExxonMobil, they know the truth. They know that their products, they know that their products are destroying our chance at a future. If we don't keep below 1.5 degrees global average temperature rise, we're all in such big trouble. These companies, they know what's going on. They deliberately invest millions and millions of pounds and dollars to confuse the public, to lobby behind the scenes to make sure that the politicians weaken their ideas and weaken the laws to try and keep them in check. And these companies know, and it's absolutely wrong. It's so wrong. And these guys, the reason I'm here today is because this is where these evil companies, and I think it's right to say that they're evil because they know the truth. They know the consequences of what they're doing, which will be to basically destroy a chance for us, all those people who are yet to be born, all our kids, destroy their chance at a future. And to me, that's just, that's unacceptable. So we're here to make sure that they know that we know we're on their case. We're going to expose the way that they work. We're going to expose the way that they handle and take care of their business. We're going to show it to the public so that they know that these guys are not on their side. They're not on our side. They're in fact only on the side of making money. They're not on the side of life.
What do you think the effect will be of this protest today?
Well, I hope that people will just realise, we're trying to make a point, because I don't think actually right now, there was a documentary just the other day with Joe Lycett versus Big Oil. I think people are just starting to wake up to this idea of greenwash. What is actually greenwash? And people were starting to realise that this means basically when these companies are trying to hide, pretend that they're doing a good thing for us or trying to look after the future, and in fact they're not. ExxonMobil here, this site here is planned to be expanded. These companies have got huge expansion plans. They invest such a tiny fraction of their money in actually, in green energy, but they're continuing like crazy to exploit oil and gas all around the world. And actually, we're here today. This is a really key site. A fifth of the UK's fossil fuel come through this site. And I think it's really important so people understand, and we have to stop fossil fuels. We have to stop using them very, very quickly. We have to move towards a low carbon economy. And if if people don't know that that's necessary, then, we're not going to do that.
Do you mind if I ask, do I recognise you from somewhere else?
Well, yeah, some people might recognise me. My name's Etienne Stott, and I'm Olympic champion in canoe slalom from London 2012 Olympics. I'm a rebel. I've been a rebel since quite early on in the story of Extinction Rebellion. I believe it's a really sensible, responsible thing to do. We have to really work hard to get. Oh, there's something going on here. Hold on. I'm going to. Looks like some people have just arrived with a banner. Here we go. All right.
There is a question I've got to ask.
Yeah, go on.
On the eve of a protest like this, I can imagine it's quite stressful. Lots of beer and cigarettes are being smoked. But I can imagine if you're an Olympic athlete, there's that same pressure, but it's not a good look, is it? Beer and cigarettes at the Olympic Village.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not into beer and cigarettes, but I'm more about, like, we have to be focused. You know, we have to realise that there's a goal here. The goal here is to secure a living planet for a future. I use that as my focus. I use that as my target, and I use the energy I get from that to try and find the courage to act, because this is, you know, sometimes it is intense, sometimes it is challenging and a bit worrying, but actually this is too important. Everything, all our futures depend on companies like this stopping what they're doing and us moving towards a better way of doing things in the future.
That's the best. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Extinction Rebellion, we're winning. We've got to keep going, everybody. Let's keep on it.
So as Etienne said there, the big oil companies have been accused of trying to slow down the transition to a zero carbon economy. We've got another person. Would you like to talk on the live stream?
Yeah, that's fine.
If you put that on your lapel, and I'll stand back a bit so we can see the boat. Would you like to introduce yourself and say why you're here today?
Hi there, my name's Michael. I'm a rebel from South Somerset, and we've just spent over an hour walking around inside the site. We walked through the security fence and weren't challenged, and we've been walking around over an hour.
And the people just walked out now with the banner?
Yeah, we're just all allowed to walk out the gate unchallenged.
And did the security guards catch you inside?
No, they found, well, the fire officers found us, and we were talked to, and they were concerned for our welfare.
Yes.
And then when we asked to leave, they were just following us around, and we decided we'd achieve what we wanted to achieve, and we decided to walk out again and make a statement by coming out here and seeing Beverly Geronimo.
Well, I'm speechless. So you were inside. Some don't indicate so, but somehow you ended up inside.
Yes.
The compound.
Yes.
It's quite big. How could you find your way about?
Well, we had we'd done some planning. We knew what the site looked like. We knew that where we went in and where this gate was. So we walked over to it, and they let us out. They questioned us politely,
Yes.
and here we are.
They didn't search your pockets, did they?
No, they haven't searched us. They haven't done anything. In fact, the first person who came to see us, who was a fire officer, showed us the way to the comfort station, and so more concerned for our welfare than anything else.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
And is that a pattern you think security guards and businesses are following? Do they sort of realise XR people are non-violent and just want to get rid of us?
Yeah, I think that's very much the case. I think they're in an interesting position, because what we've done was we've entered the place. There's a very basic thing. They can accuse us of something very basic, but it's not a criminal offence. And sorry, mate. Thank you. Yeah. So
they're security guards.
There were security. Well, we didn't see a security guard until the very end, until we asked to leave. And so yeah, it's all pretty cool, really. And we were just walked around what is, potentially a very dangerous site. We were keeping ourselves safe. We kept to the main roads, and there were big roads on the site, and we stuck to those, and we could see the gas flares, which dominate the site, and we walked around. It was quite a stunning experience.
And what gave you the courage to do that? What reason did you have to do something like that?
So many, and I was part of the G7 action in June, and I came away from that feeling devastated that the G7 achieved nothing in terms of climate, and I spent many weeks reflecting. I came out of that realising that, and I was feeling it all the time, that every time you see a bit of concrete, every time you see a motor car, we are doing damage to our planet, and we can't carry on doing that. We are threatening the very existence of our life on this planet by doing what we're doing, by the sort of plants that we're seeing here. We are so close to losing our civilization, and most people don't seem to realize that, and I find that extremely upsetting. The First Nations of North America, they talk about doing anything to protect the 7th generation to come, and we're not even doing that. We're not even protecting the 1st generation. We're taking profit away from the 1st generation. younger people than me are having their lives devastated by capitalism. And it just carries on. And I just cannot believe that we're in this state today. It's just, yeah, so many reasons for being here.
What does your family think about you doing things like this?
They're supportive. None of them are members. They are very supportive of me doing this, and they're supportive, but then they don't agree with my tactics. This is what I feel I need to do, because I've spent 30 plus years watching our governments here and globally do nothing. And we've got to a real crisis. We're seeing a crisis every day in the news. There's a climate crisis in the news. And our civilization, our so-called responsible governments, do nothing. The budget was yesterday. What did you see in the budget about green initiatives? There were no green initiatives in the budget.
Well, they halved the duty on flying, didn't they?
Indeed. So they halved the duty on flying, which is an anti-green measure.
Yeah.
So the only green measure was an anti-green, our climate measure.
So when people say stop the harm, they mean it, don't they? Stop making things worse before we can...
Exactly, that's what our banner...
Does it say that?
Yeah, no, it doesn't actually. Sorry, wrong banner. We had a banner saying stop the harm. So...
I think we'll move around a bit.
Okay.
Okay, shall we swap to another place?
Yeah.
Let's go around this side and see what's going on.
Hiya, I'm Amelia, and yeah, I'm on top of one of the storage silos at ExxonMobil's oil refinery. I think you can see behind me what's going on. So we've just come from the clip you saw just now on the stream was from the gate. So there are protesters inside the site itself. So there's a few of us on top of this silo. And then if I turn it round, there are some people on this silo as well. And then we've got groups of protesters around the site having picnics. So while this is going on, the gate blockade, which you've just come from, is, so as you can see there, that's the main entrance of the site. So by doing this, we are causing them a lot of disruption. We've blocked their main entrance in, and we've also kind of got inside the site. So, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely huge here, and it's absolutely unbelievable that this place, which is already the largest oil refinery in the UK, is planning on expanding. So their proposed expansion would increase capacity by 40%, which is, I can't get my head around that. I can't get my head around how unnecessary, but also how appalling that is. I mean, this site is absolutely contributing to the murders of millions of people. We're 3 days before COP, and we're up here saying that it's not okay. I think in the live stream, in the clip before at the gate, someone was saying about stop the harm, and that's exactly it. We need to stop the harm. This is so harmful. What's going on here is incredibly harmful. And on top of the proposed expansion, they're planning on building a new pipeline that runs from Fawley to Heathrow. And that is another thing which is absolutely appalling and absolutely astounding. I mean, trying to get more oil, more fuel to Heathrow during a climate crisis where we need to be, not doing what this site is doing. We need to be not investing in new fossil fuels, and we need the government to acknowledge and really feel that we're in the middle of a climate and ecological emergency, and they need to act accordingly. And this is what needs to happen at COP. At COP, we need the world leaders to realise, but we know that they're not going to. We know that COP is going to fail. We know that it's going to be lies and empty promises. So instead, here we are taking action, because that's what needs to happen. People need to see what's going on in this site. They need to see how disgusting it is, and they need to, we need change, and we know the public want change. We've seen that in polls. We've seen how unhappy people are with the government, and we've seen the fact that people are aware there is a climate crisis. The majority of people know, and the majority of people know that change to some degree is necessary, and yet the government, they're not respecting that at all. Our governments around the world, they just keep going on with business as usual, ignoring the fact that the people have spoken. They're not listening to the people, when in fact the people are the ones who should be making these decisions and leading on these steps forwards. Okay, I'm gonna hand back over to someone else now.
Hello, I am 21 and I'm in Hampshire. I'm taking action because I know what an emergency means. It means a sudden, serious and dangerous event or situation that needs emergency action to deal with it. Right now, fossil fuel companies aren't taking an emergency response. They are doing the opposite. Exxon are adding fuel to the fire, accelerating the damage and want to expand further. We have to stop the harm, decrease emissions and take responsibility, because nature and physics don't listen to words, it listens to actions. And I want a future in which I don't fear climate breakdown.
Okay, I'm still standing outside the Fawley refinery, which is ExxonMobil's largest refinery in southern England. Earlier this morning, we came with this pink boat and blocked the main entrance, while other brave rebels managed to get through the security barriers, through the security fence, and climb 2 of the silos. We're here because ExxonMobil has known about the dangers of climate change and the role of the fossil fuel industry in climate change, but has over the past 20, 30, 40 years used their money and their power and their wealth to misdirect people, to reduce the perceived risks of climate change and to put the onus on the consumer rather than acknowledging the role of fossil fuel companies in causing climate change. So we've got this boat here that we've been using with 3 sets of lock-ons and 2 people standing on it in order to block off the main entrance. That prevents many people from being able to get into the refinery, while others got through the security gate around the edges in order to climb 2 of the silos. And we believe that meant that they had shut down the refinery. You may have seen earlier that we had some banners across the main. Sorry. Going to work, like you do on the M25, like you stop that ambulance from getting that man getting critical treatment because he needed to go to hospital. Need your people We dropped banners on 2 of the oil silos, as well as having lock-ons further down on the stairs, and also try to increase the amount of time it takes for police and other security men to remove our rebels. The boat is actually named Beverly Geronimo. It's named after an activist from the Global South who I believe, and my apologies if this is incorrect, I believe that she lost her life at the age of 27 because of her activist work. So we named this pink boat after her and after all the brave rebels and brave activists and Indigenous peoples, particularly in the Global South, who both fight hardest to address the climate problem, but are also suffering most from it, despite the fact that they have benefited the least from the systems that have created climate change.
How would you want us to protest? How would be an acceptable to Parliament? No, but how do we get there? Exactly how you got here. Get the bus. I just feel.
Hiya, so I'm still on top of one of the silos within ExxonMobil's refinery. As you can see, the sun has come up now. It's properly up. We had a lovely sunrise, and now we can really see the extent. I mean, I can't get much further round here. We're having to be really careful because the roof doesn't look entirely stable, but without walking on this scaffolding. If you can see up there, there is just masses and masses of pipes, and it's just disgusting. So I feel like I'm choking here. The air is horrible. It's just full of fumes. It's really awful. I feel like it's in the back of my throat. I feel like I'm really choking, and I just, I can't imagine how unhealthy it is for the workers to be here every day. I can't imagine how unhealthy it is for the people who live around here. It's just really, really awful that this is still, sites like this still allowed to exist and are being expanded. We're here, or I'm here today because this can't go on. Not when we're in this climate emergency. We can't be expanding sites like this, because it's truly awful here. It's really disgusting, and I hadn't appreciated the extent of the site until coming in. I mean, I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't expect it to be quite as huge as it is. So yeah, I think you can see a photo there from the drone, and you can really get a sense of just how huge it is. And over there, that is the other silo where we've also got some Extinction Rebellion activists. They've hung up 2 banners. There's, say, climate emergency, and I think the other one says something about no more fossil fuels. I don't know if you can see them, but they're all nice and wrapped up in their sleeping bags. I don't think you're going to be able to see this. I don't want to drop my phone, but we do have a banner. That green thing, it is our banner. Yeah, so we're doing good up here. It's pretty horrible air, but we're in good spirits. The police don't seem to be here yet, so we're still just chilling on the top of here. And we've got our lock-on rebels down here. Guys, do you want to say hi to the live stream? There we go. How are you guys? Yeah, they say they're good. So they're on the stairs and just trying to, hang on. There we go. So they're on the stairs, on like a platform halfway up the stairs, and they're locked on to basically make it a little more difficult for us on the top to be removed. They're doing a really great job. It can't be hugely comfortable down there, but we keep checking in with them. They seem all right. Everyone's in really good spirits. And yeah, as you can see, this is what's directly below us. So this is sort of like a little car park bit, I guess. Before we had quite a few vehicles in there. So I think there was security. I think that guy, he's either security or he's from the private fire service that Fawley has. So they have their own private fire service, and over there, don't know if you can see them, but those there, they are working out, or I think they've found how we got in, and are dealing with it. I think they're trying to secure the site again and probably taking photos and stuff. So yeah, you can see where we got in, and then we came down here. Yeah, so we've still got, I don't know if you can see, but in between those 2 silos, so over there, you may not be able to see, but we've got some of our other lovely activists. They've been having a picnic. Yes, that's one of the groups that entered the site, and somewhere there is another group also on the ground. So yeah, we have multiple teams. We've got those of us on the silos and those of us on the ground, and then we've got the activists who have blocked the main entrance gate as well. So yeah, it's all pretty exciting. It's all pretty intense. There's a lot going on, and like I said, it's disgusting up here, but it's absolutely necessary. I mean, with COP so close, this is exactly the sort of thing that we need to be doing to send a message that we're not going to put up with these lies and greenwashing and just nothing happening. We need action. We need action now, and we need things to happen, like this site not functioning anymore. We need this site to be shut down. We need all new fossil fuel investments to be banned. And we need the government to hear this and act on it, because what they're doing at the moment isn't good enough. Quite frankly, it's embarrassing what the government are doing at the moment. And until they realise, we're going to keep hurtling towards climate and ecological breakdown. So yeah, this is the site again. There's the other silo, and here we go. This is the silo that we're on, and yeah, we're all doing good up here. Really good spirits. Just gonna wait up here for a while. Okay, I'll hand back to someone now.
Ready? We're here with two brave rebels who are locked onto the boat. Madam, I know you'd like to tell us something about the protest today. Would you like to introduce yourself and give us your thoughts?
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm here at Fawley with this excellent group of people and this amazing pink boat, and a lot of midges as well by the looks of things. So yes, I'm locked on at the moment. I wasn't expecting to be locked on, but generally I come and help with welfare and look after other people on the action.
So can you say that you weren't planning to lock on today? You were just on your way to the shops or something?
Not quite. No, I was expecting to be here. It was very early this morning, pretty much sleepless night, worrying about it. We don't take these things lightly, but unfortunately it is important. We did get shouted at as soon as we arrived by some very irate people who quite rightly were cross that they couldn't pass, and big issue. But unfortunately, this is what I feel I have to do, we all have to do in this time of crisis, in order for people and our government to sit up and listen. We're past times of denying now. Everybody knows it. We need to move away from fossil fuels. That's what we're demanding. No more fossil fuels. This is the biggest on drilling at Fawley in the UK, and it's a massive, massive site. And my mantra is stop the harm. We have rape.com. God knows we will be promised then. But until we face facts and realise that this has to stop, and addiction to it, we just need change, and we need to do it quickly. We talk about hydrogen, we talk about different types of fuels, but that's way down the line. We haven't got the time to invest in all of these things. It's already too late, and we need to be honest and recognise that. Not only this is a massive operation, and we know when we need to move away from fossil fuels because of the harm that it's causing, but this is due to expand this particular site. And also a pipeline from Southampton to Heathrow is also due for renovation and expansion. Airports are due for expansion. So we can't be told that our government is on it and we're leading the world, because actually we're not. We're just carrying on, and we need to raise our voices and say there is no future in this. However hard it looks, it just needs to stop.
And why does it carry on? Why doesn't it stop?
Well, this company, Esso, owned by ExxonMobil, is a very, very powerful company. They've known for over 50 years of the impact that the burning of fossil fuels is having, and they predicted many, many, many years ago. They have spent a lot of energy trying to bury, dissipate, deny this knowledge. So they are full within their knowledge that what they're doing is genocidal, ecocidal, whatever, is criminal. And yet it carries on. They have massive investments from government. There are investments, I don't know, I'm not very good at remembering facts and figures, but something like 11 million per minute of subsidies to this projects like these and over the world. That's why I'm here.
I was going to say, can you pass the microphone to your colleague,
Sure.
your rebel? Can you reach?
Just about.
told me, madam, you weren't locked on either.
Naughty.
So is there a problem with the action planning in XR? Do we need to raise our game? Random people to have to lock on now?
Well, I think some extra lock-on tubes were brought just in case people kind of felt the urge to step up on the day, and that's what we both have done. So we all need to do more. I feel like I always do more, and being with this magnificent group of people inspires me and motivates me and gives me the confidence and pushes me to do more.
And what was it a big decision to take to lock on? Have you locked on before? Or?
I have done it before, so it's kind of, I see it once, then I do it, and then I show other people how to do it. That's kind of generally how we go.
It's a better way to do it because you don't have that worrying the night before, do you?
That's probably true. That is probably true. Very wise. Yes. Yeah.
And why did you come along today and involved in XR and the protest? What personally to you made you act?
Well, the world's on fire. There doesn't seem to be much climate denial anymore, so that's progress. Seems to every people like myself that people feel let down by the government. They don't trust the government to be actually doing what they need to do to stop emissions, but they don't know what to do about it. This is what you do about it.
Tell the truth.
This is what you do about it. And to all the people who work in the fossil fuel industry, you are not our enemies. This is not trying to guilt trip you at all. This is, you are everyday people. You are the workers. You're not making billions. ExxonMobil are making billions. Esso are making billions. Fossil fuel company billions. And so we're all just transition. So we want you to still to real in more green trees and to continue to put food for your children. I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for me or my friends. I'm doing it for us, for everybody.
Now you two are really skillful. You weren't expecting to be locked on or to be interviewed, and you've done a really good job at both. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The programme's coming to an end now, I think, but I'm going to pass on to a much more heroic live streamer who's on top of some high up building somewhere, and I'm passing over to them now.
Hiya, yeah, so I'm here on top of one of the silos in ExxonMobil's oil refinery, and yeah, I think you can see behind me what's going on with the site. It's absolutely huge, and yeah, we're here because the expansion of the site is not okay, and government going into COP. We need radical action on the climate crisis, and we're not getting that. So yeah, I think we're rounding up the live stream now. So I just wanted to say thank you for your support, and we're going to stay up here for a while. Haven't quite decided how long yet, and yeah, we've got a lot of love for the protesters on the other silo and the ones at the gate. You can see, so some of the, just quickly before we go, we've got a couple of fire engines. These are ExxonMobil's private fire department, so they've just shown up. Still no sign of the police here though. So yeah, thank you so much. We're gonna stay up here, and yeah, love and rage, everyone.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm 34. I'm from Cornwall. I'm taking part in this action today because, in light of all of the science of the IPCC report, the IEA recommendations, the Chatham House reports, this industry and this site is planning for future expansion, and if we are to have any chance of avoiding complete climate catastrophe, we need to take action. We all have a moral obligation to take action to stop and halt what's coming. I need to be able to look my nieces and indeed my children in the eye in years down the line when catastrophic climate change is affecting their lives, and they become aware that we had 40 years of opportunity to stop this. I need to be able to look them in the eye and tell them that I did everything I could to stop this, everything in my power. That's why I'm acting today.